There are fears we talk about out loud. And then there are the ones we never name. The ones buried so deep we almost forget they're there. But they're not gone. They still steer our choices, shape our relationships, and whisper from the shadows of our everyday lives. This hidden fear isn't the kind that makes you scream or run. It's quieter. It hides in the pauses between your words, in the habits you can't explain, in the moments you hesitate for no clear reason. It doesn't push. It redirects. It doesn't shout. It whispers. Yet over time, these small detours can completely change the course of your life. Psychologists call this repression. When something feels overwhelming, our minds push it into the unconscious so we can keep functioning. It's a survival strategy, not a weakness. But what protects us in one season can hold us back in another. A fear buried in childhood can grow into patterns in adulthood, avoiding intimacy, clinging to relationships, sabotaging success, or chasing achievements not out of joy, but as a shield. The most painful part? We often don't even recognize it as fear. We say we're just not ready, or we don't like taking risks. But underneath, fear may be pulling the strings. This is what psychologists call unconscious avoidance, when we keep dancing around what we're most afraid of. Repressed fear also flips. Someone terrified of failure may become a perfectionist. Someone terrified of losing control may become controlling. What looks like strength can actually be defense. And just as individuals repress fear, whole societies do too, avoiding certain truths until they grow even more powerful in silence. Here's the paradox. The more you avoid fear, the more power it has. But the moment you start to acknowledge it, even in a small way, its grip begins to loosen. Fear thrives in darkness, but it weakens in the light. Repressed fear isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of humanity. We all carry fears we can't fully admit. The question isn't, do I repress fear? But, am I willing to notice it? If you slow down and really look, you'll start to see its fingerprints. The conversations you dodge, the opportunities you stall on, the distractions you use to avoid silence. These aren't random. They're clues. Fear always leaves a trail. And here's the hope. Just as fear seeps into our lives quietly, healing can too. You don't have to dig endlessly into the past. Start with gentle curiosity in the present. When you notice yourself hesitating or escaping, ask, what am I really afraid of? Sometimes naming the fear already weakens it. Be patient. These fears may have been living inside you for decades. They unravel slowly. And be compassionate. Repression wasn't weakness. It was protection. By showing yourself compassion, you create space for the fear to exist without controlling you. And in that space, healing begins. Hidden fear can also be a doorway. It reveals what you value. Fear of rejection means you value love. Fear of failure means you value growth. Fear of loss means you value connection. Beneath every repressed fear is something precious you're trying to protect. That's the paradox. What we avoid often holds the key to our growth. The fear you repress isn't just a shadow. It's a signal pointing toward the part of you that longs to expand. Facing it may feel terrifying at first, but it's actually a kind of rebirth. Each time you acknowledge a hidden fear, you reclaim a part of yourself. Fear isn't your enemy. It's a messenger. The silence around it is what gives it power. Breaking that silence, even just by writing it down, saying it out loud to yourself, or sharing it with someone you trust, brings it into the light. And in that light, fear begins to change. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to stop letting hidden fear decide the shape of your life. As you reflect on this, think about the subtle places fear may be hiding, the opportunities delayed, the conversations avoided, the emotions numbed. What would happen if, instead of turning away, you turned gently toward them? Everyone you admire is carrying their own hidden fears. Realizing this brings compassion for yourself and for others, because beneath the armor, every person is human. Maybe the purpose of life isn't to eliminate fear, but to transform our relationship with it. To see it not as a chain, but as a teacher. To stop burying it in silence, and instead let it remind us of what we value most. One day, you'll look back and realize your fears never defined you. What defined you was your willingness to face them, your courage to stop running, your choice to live honestly, even with the shadows. So tonight, when the world is quiet, ask yourself, what am I still afraid to face? And whatever answer arises, remember, it's not there to destroy you. It's there to guide you back to yourself. The fears we repress aren't just barriers. They're invitations. Invitations to become more whole,